Hey there, thanks for tuning in. This is the Tammy Tine Design YouTube channel. I'm Tammy, and today I thought I would change it up and talk about making page kits. I filmed this in early December. I'm sure a lot of you are working on those daily December albums, not to mention all the activities and get togethers that happen this month. And I don't know about you, but for me, my layout scrapbooking slows down in the weeks leading up to Christmas, and that's why I haven't had any videos to post. Right now, I'm focused on taking photos and jotting down journaling ideas and keeping track of all the holiday stuff. Rather than scrapbook in the middle of the holiday hustle bustle, I'm printing photos and planning new layouts and making sketches and organizing my space. Right after Christmas, I'll be on vacation from my 9 to 5 job until after New Year's, so I'll switch gears and work on layouts again. What I really need most right now is to set myself up to scrapbook at the end of December and into the winter months. Where I start is making page kits. I still have a couple of kits on my desk, but I'm in planning mode and I want to build up my stash of kits so that when I'm ready to make layouts again, everything is ready to go. So today, I have two sets of photos and I'm going to select pattern papers for both sets. And yes, the plan is to create process videos for both of these. So I will share what I create with these in January or February. When I'm creating page kits, I usually do this with 5 or 6 photos at a time. I like to batch this task. When I have all of the papers out, it's just easier for me to make a bunch at one time. I'm a planner. I'm not the scrapbooker who can enter their space, print photos, pull supplies, figure out a layout idea, write down the journaling, and scrapbook all in the same sitting. I envy anyone who has the time and ability to do that. It's just not my situation right now. When I'm ready to scrapbook, I like to have all of the prep work finished so I can just create layouts. Making the page kit is part of the prep work for me, and I like to do this task when I'm not feeling really creative, but I still need to get some things scrapbooking related accomplished. For this video, I'm only going to create 2 page kits so that this video isn't super long. Okay, this is where I start. This is my cropper hopper bin with my stack of new papers and half of my kit starters. I did get a question of where I purchased these holders. I've had them for many years. I think I got them back at Michael's back in the day. I don't think you can get them there anymore, but you can buy these on Amazon. And if I can find them, I'll put a link in the description box below. I also have a second bin of kid starters. I do my best to keep my kid starters down to just these 2 bins. This is a lot for me right now because I recently tore apart all of my collection kits. If you want more information on that, I'll link my Rethinking Pattern Paper Storage series in the description box below. When I want to make page kits, the first place I pull papers from is my newer paper stack. My philosophy is the sooner I use something, the better. If I use these papers up quickly, they'll be in my albums and not somewhere in my stash. What makes up this new stack? These are papers that have most recently come into my space. I don't keep track of how long they're here or when they came out. It's not like the stack is only new papers that have been released in the last 3 months. And if a paper is older than that, it has to go. No, I don't pay any attention to that. These papers stay in the stack as long as they are inspiring to me. When I place an order and get new paper, if this stack is too big, I'll weed through them and move some of the older stuff that is no longer as inspiring to me to other places in my stash. When I pick out papers, I go by the photo. What I'm looking for is that the paper pulls out a few of the colors from my photos. Now, this isn't scientific or something I can really teach, it's more of an instinct thing. At the same time, there's no rule that says your papers need to match your photos. But in general, that's what I'm trying to do. When I look at these 2 photos, what I primarily see is orange, gold, and blue. So I'm looking for a multicolor paper that marries the blue, the orange, and the gold. My guess is that I have a bunch of different papers in my stash that would make a super cute page kit with these photos that don't have all of the colors that I'm looking for. This paper here, for example, has the same orange from my husband's shirt. I could use this paper and it would be fine, but I have a lot of paper and I do want to flip through some of it to see if I can find papers with all of the colors that I want. But truthfully, I don't want to spend a ton of time doing this. The goal is not perfection as much as it is to hopefully find papers that will highlight my photos. But if I don't find anything else, this paper could be an option. Let's look at these other photos. These photos have a totally different color profile. I know that one of the colors I want to try to match to is in my shirt. It's kind of a terracotta color, but it could read as pink. There's also a medium blue in the tent behind us and on my husband's shirt, and there's green from the trees. I'm not sure if I will find papers with all of these colors, but let's give it a try. So this paper on top here is from the Flower Child collection by Jen Hadfield. It has some of the colors I want for these Epcot photos. It has the orange and the darker yellow color and a light blue. But the blue isn't as bold as the blue in my photos. And this paper also has some pink and a light purple that are not in my photos. That's not really a big deal for me. The way I like to work with that is to bring the colors I do want with the tone on tone and single color patterns, which will naturally play down the colors I don't want to emphasize. If I'm not able to find a better option, I could potentially use this paper and pull in the blue that I need in another way. But we're not there yet, so let's keep going. I will keep my photos off to the side, and I'm just going to flip through these papers quickly until I see something that might work. In this new stack, I have a bunch of Jen Hadfield papers here. I don't keep these in any particular order, but I do try to keep all of Jen Hadfield's papers together and all of Paige Evans' papers together and Echo Park's papers together as much as possible. Here is another floral that has a medium blue color that could potentially work. This paper next to it comes from the same collection, and this is the same color. This paper also has a gold color. What I'm not thrilled about is this paper has a lot of pinks and splashes of red, but no orange. It's an option, but not 100% what I want, so I keep looking. Again, I don't want anyone to think that your papers have to be a 100% color match to your photos. They don't. If you like a paper and feel like your photos look good with that paper, that's all that matters. It's a personal preference thing. For me, I will take the time to go through this process to find papers that I think are well suited to my photos, but I'm not looking for perfect. I will stop when I find papers that mostly have what I want. I do try to make these decisions quickly. It only takes me a second or two to decide if a paper will work or not. And for me, it's not just a matter of a paper working. There's a floral paper here that's a good color match. The colors are bold and my photo pops, but the flowers feel very feminine, and that's not where I want to go with this layout. I'm going through a lot of Paige Evans papers here. None of these are feeling right, so I keep flipping. Here are Vicky Bouton papers. Her papers tend to be really bold with bright colors and big flowers. At least that's the kind of papers that I tend to buy from her collections. As I'm flipping, you may notice I only have one or two sheets of paper from any one collection. That's because I only buy the papers I really like or I think I'm going to use. I really try hard not to buy the entire collections anymore. Okay, this paper is interesting. This is from the print shop collection by Vicky Bouton. Would this photo work with this? Yes, I do like this. It pulls in the peachy pink tone from the top I'm wearing in the photo, and it also has a darker blue color. The blue isn't really a perfect match, but there are two green tones in this paper that could work with the trees. I like it. It's a multicolor paper, and I could pull the tone on tone papers that I need to go with it. Looking at both of my photos on here, I like that it's circles and not super feminine like all of the flowers I was just going through. We are at an outdoor concert, so I wanted something fun. These circles aren't symmetrical, and I like the wonkiness. I could see me fussy cutting the circles out for embellishments. I'm just looking here to see if I have any other papers from the print shop collection. And the only one is this paper with the tags on one side and paint swatches on the other. I don't see either side working for what I want to do for this layout. I could certainly cut one or two of the paint swatches to bring in a specific color if I needed to, though. But honestly, I'm not feeling it. I'm not going to pull out the tags and the paint swatches, but I do really like this circle paper. Even if it doesn't end up being the main paper, I like the idea of cutting out the circles if I need extra embellishment. I'm not 100% sold, but this is the first paper that feels like a real possibility if I don't find anything else. I'm going to pull this one sheet and keep it with my photos so that I don't forget about it. I can always put it back in the stack if I don't use it. These crepe papers are pastel colors and very feminine. It's not what I'm looking for. I do like these stripes. It's a multicolor paper with brighter colors. This is the kind of paper that could work because it does have some of the colors I want, but the blues aren't a good fit, so I will keep flipping. So this collection has the blue color that I want, but these papers don't have any orange, so I will pass. When I set these photos down, they aren't popping and the blue isn't right. The pink does coordinate with my top, but I like the other paper that I picked better. I wanted to see if this solid paper might be a good fit, but it's really not working with my photos. The colors from Away We Go are not what I'm looking for. This paper is from Echo Park's Endless Summer collection. This paper does have an orange color, but it's darker than what I'm looking for. These colors are a closer match to my concert photos. Color-wise, it could be a good fit. But this is a summer collection, and I'm not feeling the tropical vibe with my photos. And I like the paper that I already pulled better, so I'm going to keep going. Here's more Echo Park collections. This floral is nice and has some of the colors that would work with my Epcot photos, but it's not really where I want to go. I will keep flipping. I wanted to see if this orange tone on tone paper could work. It wasn't enough of a match for me. So I will keep flipping through more Echo Park summer collections. Okay, here's a baby collection. This is interesting. I didn't expect these photos to look good against these muted colors, but I kind of like it. I could see these colors with this first photo, but honestly, it's a baby collection and cutesy. It's not the kind of layout that I want to create. And there's no blue in this collection, and the orange isn't quite right. So I'm going to keep flipping. More Echo Park summary collections. Here's a farmhouse collection. It has some of the colors that I need, but it has red. There's no reds in my photos, so no to these. This is a Simple Stories travel collection. This one actually has the orange that I want, but none of the other colors. The greens are okay, but the navy is not a match to that brighter blue in the sign. My photos don't pop on this color. This skinny stripe here does not feel right either, so I'm going to move on. This photo could work with these borders, but this collection does not have the brighter blue, so I will keep flipping. Here's another line with some oranges and gold, but not the blue. Another travel line, but not the right colors. This is good to be home from Echo Park. The colors are muted, and I'm not seeing anything that would pull in the blue from the sign. It's okay, but I want to keep looking. But that looks like it's the end of my new paper stack. I kind of struck out, but I'd rather go through this process and pull those new papers if any work. I always like to use new papers with photos I'm inspired to create with. So let me set these aside and we'll look at my kit starters. These are the rest of the papers from the bin I showed you earlier. These are what I call kit starters. The first paper will always be a multicolor paper, and there may be one or two, or sometimes five or six papers with it. When I pull papers from here, I may have everything I need for a page kit, or I may need to pull additional papers. It just depends on what I had when I put the kit starter in this pile. And I don't separate these. You could absolutely put a piece of copy paper in between. It's pretty easy for me to distinguish one kit starter from the next. I like to keep my kit starters in just two bins, and I don't want the copy paper to take up extra space, so I don't use it. These papers are from Making Memories. Who remembers Making Memories? They were one of the first really big scrapbook companies to come on the scene and then leave the scene. This one is from 2006. And yes, I will keep papers that long if I think I'm going to use them someday. I still really like the colors in these papers, so I keep them. In this stash, there's going to be older papers like this. So if you haven't been scrapbooking for very long, they may not be familiar to you. I can see that there are 3 papers here because when I get to the 4th paper, the colors have nothing to do with what you see here. They don't even remotely match, and that's how I know I'm at the next kit. These papers won't work, so let's go on to the next one. These papers are Willow from One Canoe 2. This was a designer at American Crafts for a while. There are 3 papers here, but these papers do not have the colors that I'm looking for. I can see that, so I don't even need to bring my photos over. In the next kit, this paper is Jen Hadfield. It's the B side to Wood Floors from the DIY Home Collection. The color in the roses is the color I'm looking to coordinate with my shirt here, but the rest of the colors don't work, so I need to keep flipping. Okay, so look at this paper. Right off the bat, I'm seeing that medium blue color that I've been looking for. This is from the Reaching Out collection from Jen Hadfield. How many papers are there here? So it looks like there's only 2 papers, this small floral and the stripes. This is a definite possibility. Bringing in my photos, to me, the photos look great on this little floral. The colors are bold enough that my photos aren't getting lost. The blue matches the color blue that I need from my photo. It's pulling in greens. The darker orange in the floral does not match my shirt, but there is a color in the stripe paper that's closer to what I want, so I'm okay with that. Would these work with my other photos? The blues and the greens could work, but it's not the right orange color. So I think these papers are a better fit for my concert photos. How do I feel about adding in this other paper? No, not working for me. The colors in the Vicky Bouton paper are more muted. These reaching out papers are brighter and deeper colors, and I feel like my photos pop on these papers better. So I'm going to pull these papers out and put them to the side with my photos. Later, I'll look through my rainbow stash to find one or two tone on tone papers to add. I still have my other 2 photos, so let's keep flipping through papers. Here's more Jen Hadfield papers, not the right color. I'll bring my photos over, but the colors aren't right with this one either. There's too much pink. These older crate papers aren't going to work. This paper is from My Mind's Eye. The collection was called Bloom and Grow. The orange could work, but the rest of the colors from my photos will not work with this front paper. Could I pull this orange paper if I needed to? Yes, but I'm not ready to do that yet. I don't want to break up a kit starter just for one tone on tone paper. I'd still like to go through the stack to see if I'm able to find papers with all of the colors. Here's an Echo Park summer collection. This one has some orange and it's a good tone match to my photos, but the rest of the colors aren't what I want. The yellow could probably work okay, but the blue in this collection is navy and I want a brighter blue. So I'll keep flipping. I actually have a lot of pool party papers here. Okay, here's the next one. Good Day Sunshine. Again, the colors are not what I'm looking for. There's no orange. So I got to keep flipping. This paper is from Echo Park's Happy Day collection. No, it's not the right colors. These florals are from Cartabella. They're not right. This paper from Photoplay has the orange in it, but none of the other colors I need, so no. Okay, this paper is Paige Evans. It's from the Bungalow Lane collection. This might be the right blue, and I see some orange, so let me bring over my photos. Wow, the orange in my husband's shirt is popping right out against that contrasting blue. And it looks like the blue is a good match to the blue in the sign. There is a darker orange color here, not exactly the color in my husband's shirt, but it's not that far off. This paper also has pinks that are not in my photo, but let me look at the other papers in this kit starter. There's an orange and gold polka dot. I've got a white and gold chevron and another floral. This is also from the Bungalow Lane collection. The next paper I can see is Cartabella, Our Family. So there are only four papers in this kit starter. The other Bungalow Lane paper has that golden color, but here on the white background, it's a much closer match to the orange I want. And I like how my photos look against this paper. Looking at my photos with these papers, I'm liking this. And there is this orange dots and stripes paper from Echo Park with the gold foil dots. It's a bit darker than his shirt. It's darker, but all of the papers don't have to be a 100% match. And the gold dots do pull out the gold from the fountain and the gold on the blue sign, so I still think it works. This other paper has gold foil chevron stripes. This will also help pull in the gold from the fountain and the blue sign. With four papers, I don't even think I'll need to pull anything from my rainbow section. I'm going to pull these papers, and this is what I'm going to go with for my Epcot photos. That didn't take too long. Could I keep looking to see if there are papers that are a better match? Sure, I could, but honestly, I like what I've found and I don't see the need to keep looking. So for these photos, the papers I have here are enough for a page kit. I like to have 3 to 4 papers with contrast, and these papers will all work with my photos. I've got the blue, the orange, and the gold that I was looking for. I like how the photos pop against that main blue paper, and my main photo looks good with that white and floral paper in the back too. I'm good with this. I don't even need to pull other papers. So let's look at my other photos. So far, I only have 2 papers here. I do like to have that 3 to 4 papers in my layout page kits, so I will go into my rainbow stash to find some tone on tone papers. Thinking about what I could do here, I'll look through my rainbow bins to see if I can find a lighter blue that I could play off of the sky from this photo. And I'll also try to find a green color because I want to pull in the trees. What I'm not going to do is look for this blue color from the tent behind us. These papers already have that blue color. And while I want my papers to contain that color, it's not going to be a focal point for my photos. So when I create my layout, I don't want to bring more of that color in to emphasize it. So I'll look for something green to pull in the trees, and I'd like to bring in a lighter blue from the sky. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you struggle with pulling papers for your photos, I hope this video gave you some ideas to think about. I'll be back with process videos in January, so I'll share the rest of the supplies that I pull for each of these page kits when I make the layouts. I hope you'll join me to see what I create. See you next time.